Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Atiqah binti Ahmad Sukri. My matric number is 1629640, and also my partner named Nurul Asnida binti Mohammad Ridzuan, and her matric number is 1618394. So both of us are paired number 21, who will be presenting about the gender stereotypes in the short story entitled Mariah and Mala. So in this video, I will be presenting about the gender stereotypes in the short story entitled Mariah, written by a female Malaysian writer named Cik Husna Azhari, who is from Kelantan. Gender stereotype refers to generalized views or preconceptions about the characteristics or attributes that have been performed either by men or women. People tend to have a mistaken ideas or belief about someone based upon how they look on the outside, which may be untrue or only partly true. It is also considered as a type of prejudice because what is on the outside is a small part of who person is. We cannot judge people just by looking at their appearances because it looks like we discriminate against them without knowing the real side of them. A gender stereotype is harmful when it limits women and men's capacity to develop their personal abilities, pursue their professional careers, and also make choices about their life. Mariah is a story about Mariah herself, who is a widower and worked as a nasi berlauk seller in the village in Kelantan named the Molo village. Basically, her existence in the village caught the attentions of most village men. However, she is seen as a threat by the women in the village as most of their husbands are attracted to the beauty of Mariah beholds. In the story, married men tend to not eat the food that their wife had prepared and tend to buy food at Mariah's kedai merpati for her scrumptious cooking of nasi lemak berlauk. There is an imam in the village who is actually already married to Cik Yam, suddenly reminded that Mariah looks like his old lover and eventually fell in love with Mariah. Cik Yam agreed with the idea that the imam would want to marry to Mariah due to some reason, and one of the reasons is that Cik Yam cannot give the imam children. So she agreed when the imam wants to get married with Mariah. So in the end, their marriage was agreed by the whole society in the village, especially the women, as this means that Mariah will not be able to get a hand on their husbands. Gender stereotype occur in the story entitled Mariah through the character of Mariah because she is beautiful compared to the other women in the village. The villagers of Molo village start to talk back about Mariah because of her swagging as well as her easy smile that make all the village men flock to the village square just to see Mariah because she normally would walk every morning at 7 a.m. past the market entrance to the village square. Besides that, Mariah does not have a husband with her, so that's the reason why all the village men are trying so hard to make Mariah as their wife. Cikgu Nap has been spreading gossip and news about Mariah to the villagers despite their same gender without even knowing if the news is valid or not. Cikgu Nap also mentions that we don't like to backbite our own sister when they are gathering at the Cik Yam's house before she started to spread the rumors about Mariah. It shows how ironic it is for her to say that and the negativity that Cik Gunap is trying to portray that she would not accept Mariah as her sister just because her husband had already passed away. A woman should support another woman if a case like this occurs, as they do not have anyone else to financially and emotionally rely on. The village woman being stereotypes toward the character of Mariah because she is beautiful and afraid that they will be losing their husband because of the beauty that Mariah had. From this short story, it can be seen that Cikgu Nap, who was the one who spread all the rumors about Mariah to all the villagers including Cik Yam, so that all the village women will hate Mariah. Cikgu Nap's husband also went to Mariah's stall just to eat nasi lemak berlauk because his wife do not know how to cook. Also, Mariah has been described as someone who is beautiful tall and has a fair skin, who always wearing a short kebaya with kain lepas to cover her head when she is selling nasi lemak berlauk. She is seen as a threat to the village women because most of the village men are attracted to the beauty that Mariah had. The village men do not eat their breakfast at their own house anymore. So, it makes the womenfolk come up with an idea that Mariah used something while preparing the food for the villagers that makes their husband neglected their ready cooking and stick to Mariah kedai merpati for her nasi lemak berlauk. It is because the imam of the village also went to Mariah's kedai merpati to have his breakfast, even though his wife Cik Yam is good in cooking skill. It makes the village woman being stereotypes toward the character Mariah, as she is using something to attract all the village men. The only reason why the imam went to her stall is that when imam saw Mariah, he was transported back into his early days and remembering his past love when he was peruser in Patani, and not because of the nasi lemak berlauk. Cik Yam starts to be stereotyped toward Mariah after she heard about what Cik Gunab said about Mariah. The feeling of jealousy arose in Cik Yam when she knows that she could not give children to the imam. So, it makes Cik Yam feel afraid if the imam has the intention to get married again just to get a children. Cik Gunab said that Mariah had put something in the food by emphasizing on the word something. It shows that Cik Gunab is trying to bring the negativity towards Mariah's character in this short story. The village woman in the Molo village judged Mariah without getting to know Mariah at all. Mariah is not a bad woman, as they said, and she just worked to support her life after her husband passed away by selling nasi lemak berlauk. After hearing all the explanation by the imam, Cik Yam allows the imam to get married with Mariah. So that's all from me. I pass the floor to my partner Nurul Asnida, who will be presenting about the gender stereotype in the short story entitled Mala.
Thank you to my partner, Sister Atiqah. Okay, next, I will continue the discussion on the short story entitled Mala, written by K.S. Maniam. Before I continue the presentation, I am Nurul Asnida binti Mohammad Ridzuan, 1618394. K.S. Maniam is, or his full name is Subramaniam Krishnan. He is an Indian English writer that always portrays Indian society in his writing. In the short story, he portrays the gender stereotypes of an Indian girl named Malati, or being called as Mala by her neighbor because she was a lazy girl. Mala is taken from Malay words which means malas or being lazy. She is an Indian girl that still practice the cultural aspects like wearing a sari and apply the turmeric on her face for the sake of being beautiful. The neighbors keep talking about negative and bad things to her family about her that makes her father want her to get married. She always went to her best friend's house, Susie, to share about her unlucky life, which is facing the family that never supported her at all, mentally and physically, until she felt stressed to be in her own house. So when she went back home, her mother was mad at her because her neighbor complained to her mother that she loves to loiter around under the mango tree. When her neighbors talked much about her bad attitude, she decided to accept an offer to get married from Sanker, who is Susie's brother, who lived in Kuala Lumpur, because she felt desirous to be in the bliss domestic rather than being in the negative saying of her own neighbors. So, after marriage, her life turns out to be better than before because her husband never judged her like her old neighbors, and he turns Mala to be a great woman when he promises to her that they will have better lives at the future by having more money, a new car, and a big house than they lived before. Thus, I will continue the presentation by showing the examples of gender stereotypes in the short story. Okay, so for the first example of gender stereotypes in the short story is when the neighbors are calling her Malati as Mala, which is taken from Malay words which means as lazy or malas. The neighbors are judging her for being lazy just because she did not pursue her studies after she finished her school. Things went bad when her own family even called her with the same name, Mala. Following the bad neighbors too. Rather call her Mala, they can call other positive names like Melati because her full name is Malati, but they can call her like Melati, or in the Malay word it refers to jasmine flowers, but her neighbor always call her as Mala, which it affects her life physically and mentally. Next, the second stereotype was shown in the short story through mangoes. Mangoes are ripening, she said, referring to Mala's breast. Keep them covered with sacking, hence many reach out. So from the dialogue, we can see that the writers portrays that women in the society, especially from the Mala characters, should be in the good character, which she needs to be covered, cannot go out anywhere, she should stay at home to avoid being watched by men's gaze. So it can be seen when her parents met at her and said that she will burn Mala's leg if she's still going out of home, although she just went out to her best friend's house, not going anywhere. Thirdly, the writer showed the gender stereotypes in the short story when the expectation of women should be a good girl or being caring and friendly. However, in the character of Mala, when she's being bold and brave by saying that her grandfather died because of wasting disease, and her mother asked her to beware of her words and still supported her great-grandfather as a warrior in the eyes of God. Next, we can see the gender stereotypes that happen in the story can be seen by equating women with the mangoes through the dialogue. Oh, the mangoes want to fall into some man's hand, said the neighbors, that referred the mangoes to Mala, which led her parents wanted her to get married so that it will end all the nasty words that came from their neighbors. And last but not least, the gender stereotypes on women should get pregnant by the time she get married. So we can see when Susie asked Mala about her baby when she visited her house and stayed there for 1 week. However, she cannot be pregnant yet as her husband still not ready yet to be a father because he wanted to make their life stable first by having more money, a car, and a big house. In addition, from the character of Sankar, he is the modern husband when she pampered Mala well by asking her to not to apply any turmeric to her face. Instead, he gave lotion and skincare for Mala to make sure that her skin will always be pretty in front of him. Okay, in conclusion, from our presentation, it can be seen that Mariah and Mala, written by Cik Husna Azhari and K.S. Maniam, are portraying gender stereotypes through the short stories. Both writers depict the true colour of the society of villages in Kelantan and Indian society, which shows that different cultures can have different gender norms or different ways they expect men and women to behave. Thus, these norms are called gender roles, which are specific roles men and women are expected to perform within the family, even in the society too.